New Breed, Universal, ENT. New breed, that's to the world over. Yeah.
Lexus.
Disingenuous thieves trying to rob us of peace. I got them jumping the fences. I left the dog off the leash. A couple verses they flee. Yeah, they watch but don't speak. But I can hear your heartbeat. I don't fear, I just preach. What I learned in the streets is like death coming threes. I would die on my sword before I lie on the Lord. It's violence at the door, prepares for war. Sometimes I fight with the flesh, and I be coming up short. The righteous fall 7 times before they ever turn blind. But don't continue in sin or get a reprobate mind. Gotta fight with the masses, taking shots like a maverick. Fiery darts hit the armor, break off like it's plastic. Like the slave in the field, a sitting plot on the master. Hit his head with the shovel and wrap his body in plastic. When I'm lynched in the public, going out with some laughter. Put a crown on the saint for redefining what's tragic. This the creed of assassins, power circle was had. Let your light shine, rid the world of this madness.
Okay.
We the Lord's battle axe. Let's get it.
Divinely, I'm a poet in the metals, a protector of y'all's kingdom, no cap and see I'm a leader. Tried to defeat us, lies and poison that they feed us. Like MJ, they cannot beat us, nah. So asinine of the blind, assassinated they mind, misleading souls, what a crime, taking back what is mine, so we shine, so bright like the light, these words slay with might, hold my peace, my Lord shall fight, they so fearful of the sight, praise and worship tribally bite, reprove, beware, scornful smite, laws and statutes we recite, flaming sword we ignite, clothing faith with the desire and my attire, the favor that I acquire, the verses that shall inspire, the battling of Goliath, removing mountains, slaying giants to the wicked, I'm defiant, prayers always reliant, I know God be replying, so I lifted my sword and I commenced to refining. Yeah.
Creed of assassins, power circle was had. Let your light shine, rid the world of this madness.
See the poet.
We the Lord's battle axe.
A warrior.
Let's get it. Yeah.
Being the battle axe for the Lord, this isn't Lord. This happened before when Yah opened the door of his anger onto mortals. He opened the portal of might, now you see it inside. The flock of his sheep are men, don't be shocked. We are saying we have 10 enemies, try to make amends for they can't contend for a win. The righteous are igniting this, we are prayer warriors, mean we blessed for the fight. Our God is a man of war and Israel has been on tours. We make sure we're pure before we with the Lord, we are reassured, we press forward, sound like David in 144, sharp with the sword, ready and equipped, praying to the Lord. Let me at him for the citation of this wicked nation. Let's have a quick intercession to remove some of this leaven.
Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright. For the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord, and he is their strength in the time of trouble. And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them, because they trust in him. Power circle. Shalah.
Shalom, Israel. It's your brother New Breed coming through with another live stream. Welcome, everybody. What's going on, chosen ones? What it do? What it do? Javon's in the house. Jonas, God's son. Roland, what's going on? It's a Mitchell. Jalen, Young Gene, salute. AJ. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to New Breed, Universal ENT. I am simulcasting on New Breed Global Truth as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering why it looks different, this is actually streaming from my other channel, but I decided to simulcast so you all can get a good view at the channel and come on over and hit that subscribe button, man. What are you waiting for? It's got exclusive music over here. It's got content, live streams, uploads, shorts. I mean, it's got everything over here. So, New Breed, Universal ENT, come over and hit the subscribe button and join me, because I'm gonna be very active over there because we building it up, right? But man, all praises to the Almighty. I want to give some honorable mentions. I want to give some shout outs, man. I got to give some shout outs to all the brothers and sisters who have been trading in their death notes for love notes. Yes, there's been a lot of brothers and sisters as of late making charitable contributions, and I want to call y'all out by name, because y'all truly understand what's happening in the world and you really about your people. I want to shout out Dimitri Stupak. That brother spent $115. Well, traded in 115 death notes in for love notes. Cameron Holmes, 30. Joseph Latta. I'm not even going to list the amount because that doesn't even matter. I'm not going to list the amount because you know what? There's so many people who made contributions doing what they can. I'm just going to do these honorable mentions. Shout out Cameron Holmes. Shout out Joseph. It looked like your name was pronounced Laughter. It says Joseph Laughter. Shout out Richie King. Shout out John Morris. Devonna Brown. Dominique Wilder. Marvin White. Kevin Giacone. Quan Watts. Nyla Hughes. Shout out to Ivy Bryant. Shout out to Jaleel Marshall. Letitia Green. Daniel Glenn. Cannell Baker. Ladarius Wiley. Charmaine Green. Thank you. Denisha North. Daryl Scott. Vanessa Perry. Rashida Pittman. Andrea Raming. And that's just to name a few. That's just to name a few for now. I want to shout you brothers and sisters out because you understand what's going on in the world and you get what the mission is. You know that the American currency is going downhill rapido. You understand that these are death notes that we hold in our pockets. Currency that was built upon bloodshed, built upon hatred, built upon all forms of wickedness. And you realize that in order for our people to have salvation, we got to have our own current. And it's really the difference between heaven and hell. It's the difference between the city and the country. The difference between peace and being troubled. Understanding what money is used for and understanding the importance of actually using it the proper way. And you got to think about this. We see this blood money out here that everybody is killing each other for every day, man. People are slaughtering people for this almighty dollar. You know, a lot of people are losing their souls because they're greedy and they don't want to do for others. A lot of individuals are selling their bodies for chump change. And it's literally chump change because this money is it's of no value. Let's put it that way. It's of no value. These Federal Reserve notes, nothing but witchcraft is performed on them. And the people who understand get it, because these love notes are getting people out of the city. Let me repeat that. These love notes are getting people out of the city. The functionality it plays is paramount to what we're building over there on our land. It is of great value and substance. So it's like the Almighty has given us a choice. And there's been a lot of brothers and sisters who have been supportive of the mission. And I don't think a lot of others understand what these love notes signify and represent. But you're gonna get a good understanding today, and you're gonna understand why people are actually trading in the chosen ones. Why are they actually trading in these death notes for love notes? Well, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, the scriptures tell us that in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covered it after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So a lot of people have realized that since the money is tainted in its very core, in the very essence of the money, it's poison, it's toxic, it has an evil allure to it. They realize that they don't want to be pierced with many sorrows. They've seen the mistakes that many others have made before them, and they don't want to make the same mistakes. Let me tell you something. You're living in a time where Satan will grant you all the money that you can never spend, but it comes with a great deal of sorrow. And Matthew 6:24 tells us, no man can serve two masters, but either he will hate the one and he will love the other. It says, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. And this is just a fact. And people realize that, they have to make a sacrifice in order to show themselves approved of the Most High. And let me make that clear. Psalms 50:5 says, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. By what? By sacrifice. So as leaders and teachers, we're gathering the people together who are willing to make and sacrifice. You don't have to sacrifice goats and bulls and chickens and all of that. You have to make a sacrifice, though. In this life, the Most High wants to know that you're willing to give up the rudiments of this world for him, to pursue him. And, the great thing about all of this is everybody who has received a love note, they have firsthand interaction with us. We got various platforms, various mediums of communication. On my site, I just found out I have the ability to stream live over there, which is excellent. So not only do I have a platform that's almost like Facebook or Instagram, but I also have the ability to stream live and talk directly to the people who have been supportive, the people who understand the validity and the importance of building up the nation. Now, when we talk about the chosen ones, right? The scriptures tell us in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises to whom have sent you. And that's what's going on right now. We're doing something different, something unique, something that's colossal and monumental, something that's peculiar. And the world don't quite get it. So I find the need to explain this to them, y'all, because people are not used to people using social media in the capacity that we use it within the United Nation of Israel. They're not used to people actually want what they deserve. And I'm going to show you chosen ones, you children of Israel, that you deserve to have your own. You deserve to have your own current. You deserve to build your own. You deserve to have something that you can call yours that's built on love because of all the hate that we have experienced. I'm going to show you. And I'm going to go to a source today. And this source is going to bring forth a lot of insight on the dollars that people spending in this system and why it's important to establish our own currency. And I'm going to tell you, the love notes have officially acted as an actual currency a couple times. Right now, of course, essentially it's a coupon. But ladies and gentlemen, when you support the Love No system, you are actually doing currency exchange with your nation. You're saying, I don't want this blood money. That's what you're saying. I don't want the blood money of this demonic nation that has enslaved our people. This nation who will not give us our 40 acres and a mule. This nation who will not, give our people what we deserve. And this nation that continue to morally degrade the people. This nation that continually financially degrades the people. What we're saying is we're going to go to our own nation of people. This is what the people who go on the site are thinking. This is why they have traded them death notes in. They're saying to themselves, you know what? We're no longer going to support this nation. Of course, to a degree, we got to do what we got to do. But I am going to make a conscious decision to make a currency exchange with my own nation of people. Since y'all didn't do right by us, y'all used slave labor to build up Wall Street. Y'all burnt down our Black Wall Street. Since you decided to not give us any recompense, we're gonna go do some currency exchange. When you travel to various places within the world, you do currency exchange, ladies and gentlemen, because you got to spend the money in that nation. Well, guess what? You blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Hispanics, let me make this clear. You are a nation of people. You just been spread it all over the world to the four corners. So you deserve to have your own currency. And for all the Gentile brothers and sisters, you're chosen as well. You're chosen to help with this work. There's so many Gentiles that sojourn with us. You know why? Because they're tired of this wicked society as well. And they understand that the money that's being pushed through this system is causing more destruction, more eternal damnation. So I want to really educate you children of Israel on what you deserve, right? Now, I want you all to hit the like button, show support for the stream. Now, I want you to look up at your screen. I want to talk about a little bit about the stock exchange and how Wall Street began with slavery. How Wall Street began with slavery. And I think that you're going to get a real understanding on why the chosen ones of the Most High are making a concerted effort to secure themselves in these tumultuous times and adhere to what the scriptures tell us, because the Bible validates everything that's being done. And we're going to go there. But let's continue.
Wrong is an ox. Nothing but good seeds blown from this here buck. Look at them teeth.
Fair use federal law allows citizens to redistribute small portions of copyright material for the purposes of teaching, edification, and so forth. And this will be transformative in nature. I'm adding my commentary and my criticism, and I'm actually about to speed this up a little bit. Yeah, let's speed that up.
Huh? I'll start them out at 200. 150? Come on now, I gotta make a living here, gents. 100?
Oh, hold on. Sorry, y'all.
75? Sold! Get out of here. Put a yoke on her. Bring her up here. Now, consider this comely wench. Not a day over 18. All right, I'll start her off at 175.
Deuteronomy 28:68. And it shall be sold for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, which means no man shall redeem you. And this is the transatlantic slave trade. This is what we've been through. Selling our women, selling our children. A child may be on one plantation. The parents may be on another one. We would yearn to see our young ones grow up. Our men would be treated as bucks, procreating without having no type of responsibility for the child. And our women were being betrothed by the slave owner. This is what this money is built upon. The money in your pocket that you spend, yeah, this is what it's built upon. Let's continue.
I got 175. Do I hear 2? Now we're talking. Do I got 225?
Master, that went to dad. Sure make a good wedding gift for Miss Catherine.
225.
She keeps saying she been asking.
Do I hear 250?
She was right, young, if you ask me.
Come on now.
You right, sir. She young.
250. Come on.
With the right teacher.
250.
When she like that,
250.
can be working a long time.
There it is. 275.
Master, sure will be ashamed to watch you go to waste for such a low price.
275.
What the hell would you know about what's a little and what's a lot, huh?
275 for me.
I don't know what's gotten into you lately, but whatever it is, you better quit.
Seeing what I'm seeing.
And see, when the brother's starting to push back and try to understand, this is the Nat Turner story. As Nat Turner was trying to push back and find out what was the value of his people. Now imagine that, ladies and gentlemen, you in the fields and you seeing your people being sold off and you're trying to figure out what's the value. You don't even know how much they're being traded for. You're trying to figure out what's a lot, what's a little. What's the value of our people? Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters, we're invaluable. Why? Because we built every single nation where the Most High has scattered us. That means we have all the abilities, all the skills, the trades. At one point, we were the most agricultural people on the face of this planet. We got all the creativity. We have it all. It's in our DNA. So we're invaluable. And imagine they were being sold for little to nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. This is a serious question. Aren't you tired of being sold for little to nothing? Aren't you tired of being sold for little or nothing when you are invaluable? Now think about what I asked you. Because in this system, they really don't care. You're living in a time where they want to replace us with artificial intelligence. They don't want to pay the people. You're living in a time where they don't want to outsource. So they figure they can make all income, not have to pay the employees. They figure that, hey, you know, we don't have to take care of insurance. We don't have to worry about them taking days off. We don't have to pay them for paid leave. We don't have to do none of that. We don't have to worry about unemployment. None of that. This is the world that we're living in. This is the direction society is going because they have used us up until there's no use in us anymore. Why? Because our people are waking up and we're realizing how valuable we are. The question is, are we ready to start building with our own nation of people? Are we ready to start establishing ourselves as a nation, moving as a nation, and acting as a nation? Because that's what the scriptures command us to do. It says, gather yourselves together, O nation, not desired. We're not desired by these people. We're not desired by these slave masters. They used us up. They're done with us. It's time to gather ourselves together. If it's one thing all us content creators should agree on, all us churches or whoever should agree on, is the fact that we need our own currency. If we don't agree on nothing else, when it comes to building our people and coming together as a nation and actually having some type of say-so, instead of being at the bottom, because we still at the bottom, everybody should agree that we all need our own current. Because the rest of the nations, they setting up Bitcoin, they setting up all these things that are just part of the beast system. That's all it is. It's part of the beast system. We got to have something that's towards the most high system. Anyway, let us continue.
Then you take this one home, you know, clean her up. Won't be long till you find yourself happier than a dog with 3 balls. Smile, bitch. That's 250 going once. 250 going twice.
275.
We got 275. 275 going once. 275 going.
Now, mind you, we're talking about $2.75. Dojo Things, thanks for the 5. Says, just wanted to show some support. I've been listening to your builds for some time, and you're doing amazing work. Shalom, and may the last finish first. Thank you, family. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Let's continue.
Going twice. Zone to that fine gentleman in the back.
New York, New York. It is arguably still the preeminent global financial center. As far as money and media go, it's the city that's the world headquarters for both. And so perhaps the title Center of the World is fitting. But here's an unpleasant reality less talked about. While New York, both the city and the state, were centers of the abolitionist struggle to finally end slavery, it was actually enslaved Africans that built the infrastructure of the colonial city. And it was that way from the 1600s to 1827.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? We built up Wall Street. There will be no stock exchange if it wasn't for you. We did all of this, but we fighting in the hood, killing each other over pennies on a dollar. Why are we doing that? We should have our own. That's predicated on love, right? We should all agree on that. Anyway, let's continue.
When slavery was legally abolished in New York City. We rarely think of New York as a slave-holding city, but it had more slaves than any other city except Charleston, South Carolina. It's inconvenient, uncomfortable, and for some shameful. Perhaps that's why many shy away from talking about it. But not Alan Singer, who's lived in New York all his life. Dr. Singer is a professor of secondary education at Hofstra University and a former New York City high school social studies teacher. He's the author of New York and Slavery, Time to Teach the Truth. I met with Dr. Singer in Lower Manhattan. He agreed to take us to some of the most...
Now, for those who are unaware, New York is pretty much the central hub for all trade when it comes to currency within the United States. So this is a big deal. That bull that you see outside of Wall Street, that is the bull of Moloch. So there was actually our people being sacrificed as well for the riches and the success of this Babylonian structure that you see today, right? And it's just a utter fact here. The scriptures tell us, man. It says in Ecclesiastes 5:10, he that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity. Now, for all you brothers and sisters out there, if you're in the truth or not, you may not be the most spiritual person. You may not be that into the Holy Bible, but you cannot sit up here and lie and act like because, and I'm talking about those who became successful in something. You can't sit up here and act like that you're satisfied with just building up a bank account. You can't tell me that you're satisfied with just having money. You can't tell me that it's enough for you to just make a lot of dollars. Somewhere deep down inside, you know that there's an emptiness there. You know that there's something that you're supposed to be giving back. You know that it's something you're supposed to be establishing within your people. And you know this. If you're watching me today, and I know because it's celebrities that watch, there's various people who watch the platform. I know you can't be satisfied with just having money, because once you buy things, that's it. And there's only so much you can buy. There's only so much you can do. You can't tell me you don't feel like it's time to establish something for your people, something that your children and the next generation can have and call it their own. You can't tell me you're not yearning and desiring that, because as a man, as men, we're not satisfied with relying on other nations for everything that we have. That money doesn't have our face on it. We're tired of relying on them for jobs, for our food, our water, our shelter. I mean, we say we're men, right? Well, we want something for our people. And that's why it's important to pour into your people. Now, I know that there's people who done, done made millions, and they just don't know how to help their people. It starts with doing currency trades with your nations. That's how it starts. It starts with love. It starts with love, man. Straight up.
Most important sites related to slavery here. The African Burial Cemetery was used between the late 1600s and 1796 and originally contained between 10 and 20,000 burials. Despite the harsh treatment that these African people experienced in colonial America, the 427 bodies—
They're calling them the African people because that's where we're from. We're actually the nation of Israel. We're the children of the transatlantic slave trade. Africa is just a location, and Africa is actually named after Africanus, and he was a Roman conqueror. The land more accurately would be described as Ethiopia. You know, that is still our homeland, where Israel actually presides. You know, a lot of people in truth fail to realize that our holy land, our holy land is what they call Africa. And I just thought I'd educate you on that. Anyway, let's continue.
Bodies that eventually were recovered were actually buried with great care and love. They were wrapped in linen shrouds and placed in coffins that sometimes contained beads or other treasured objects.
And what happens is,
and you know, isn't that something? So they built Wall Street off our backs, and the only token of appreciation they gave us was pretty much to mummify us to a degree, bury us underneath it. This is what you're hearing, ladies and gentlemen. They bury our people, mummified us, gave us some linen cloth to continue to exploit our people even after they were gone, because it's a spiritual aspect to what the nation did to our people. That's why the money is so deep rooted. The connection to it is so deep rooted. The bodies of our ancestors lay underneath these providences. Now, how sick is that? How wicked is that? And they got that from ancient Egypt, built, you know, burying the bodies for great riches and all of that, mummifying them. They not saying that they mummified them, but that's what they did. They claiming they buried them in linen and all that. They mummified them. It's nothing new under the sun, right? Let's continue.
the burial ground is listed on old New York City maps, but in the 1790s, as the city grew, the burial ground itself was just paved over. And then in the 1990s,
So they just paved over our bodies.
the federal government decided to build this new office building here.
You see that underneath that building right there, where they making all this money, where all this money is being exchanged. The bodies of our ancestors lay underneath it, and we are the people at the bottom in this country. How disrespectful can one be? How disrespectful can you be? So underneath all of these financial institutions is your ancestors. Man, sick. Let's continue.
And when they excavated this site for the foundation, they found hundreds and maybe thousands of bodies that had been buried prior to 1790.
Hundreds and thousands of bodies, hundreds and thousands of bodies, or hundreds to thousands of bodies buried underneath Wall Street, and they're all your ancestors. And you look in the hood today, man, we cutting each other off left and right. We going to war for it. You got people jealous of the next man. All this money does is produce jealousy and hatred among people. Everybody, it's a dog eat dog world out here. Everybody cutthroating each other. Even on social media, everybody's trying to tear the next one down because they want to get in somebody's lane. Everybody's in competition. All the money does is make us destroy each other. This is something else, right? The scriptures tell us. The scriptures tell us. Matthew, and this is Matthew 6:19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. Meaning, don't lay up things here for you on this earth. You got some people out here who got tens, thousands, hundreds, and thousands of dollars in the bank, just sitting there. And guess what's going to happen? When you go to the next life, the banks are going to take that money back. These billionaires who are full of greed, these financial institutions, they're going to pretty much have it. It's going to be recycled back through the system. The big house you lived in while you're in the grave pushing up daisies, somebody else is going to be living there. Life goes on. This is why the scripture says a righteous man leave an inheritance for his children's children. Now, what's a real inheritance? A real inheritance is land. A real inheritance is gardens, crops. A real inheritance is something that's tangible. A real inheritance is something we can call our own. Only thing we doing in this system is living to die. And I say living to die because if you gone and you haven't left nothing behind, or even just instill certain principles in your child's head, they don't really live on with the information. Our money died with us. Our resources died with us. Everything went with us. There was no godly legacy left behind. And that's what it's all about. And as you start to age and mature and get up there, you start thinking. And there's a lot of people who tried to do something. Bill Cosby, he tried to buy a network. And what happened? He was arrested for it. You know why? Because when you get up there in age, you start realizing that everything you did was just for yourself. And when it's time for you to almost check out, yeah, he tried to purchase CBS. But when it's time for you to check out, you like, damn, man, I don't have nothing I can give my people. I didn't do nothing for my people, essentially. Real talk. And there's going to be a lot of preachers, a lot of pastors, a lot of deacons, a lot of bishops that's going to have to answer and have that same situation. I'm telling you. Let's continue.
All of a sudden, there was a tremendous investigation because what they discovered from the maps, this is the African burial ground. What happens is, as New York City grew, people are familiar that Wall Street had a wall. But Wall Street Wall was in 1664 when it was a Dutch city, New Amsterdam. When at the time of the American Revolution, it's a British city, and the wall is actually on Chambers Street, just on the other side of this building. Africans, even though they were Christian, were considered to be heathen, and they were not allowed to be buried.
So we were considered to be heathen. So we wasn't even given a proper burial. You didn't use our labor to build up Wall Street. You didn't use slave labor to make sure the finances was able to be exchanged. And then you buried us underneath your financial institutions. And then you made us disqualified to even have proper burials, even afterwards. And we want to keep on fighting for this currency.
In the church grounds within the city limits. So they are buried outside the wall in this area just outside New York City. Now, part of the reason that this area was used is also very swampy. Just below, we'll see, is an area they called the Collect, and behind that is an area called 5 Points. It's very swampy areas. As a result, they were not prime for people to live. This was used as the African burial ground. The whole area was just paved over. It was lost to history. It was erased from the past, and was only found when they started digging the foundation for this office building.
The African American community demanded answers after the cemetery was rediscovered in the 1900s.
And you know, and this is how they like to do us. They like to pigeonhole us. Instead of having answers about the cemetery and the burial ground, our real answers should be, well, what about our 40 acres and a mule? What about what is owed to us? What about what we deserve? This is just blatant disrespect what they did, but we're missing out on the fact that that a lot of this country belongs to us, actually belongs to us, based on what we built. And this is why we got to look at money a whole nother way moving forward. I'm going to see who been around for a while. Who was around back in the day? You know, during the, I think it was about 2-3 years ago on the making of my channel, when I burnt money on camera, just burnt it. And a lot of people thought I was tweaking. Some of y'all seen that, right? I just burnt money. I don't know, by show of ones, who was there. That's an old video. It's still online. I think it's actually you could scroll through and see it in the thumbnail. The reason I'm saying that, I'm bringing that out, is because I don't look at money like everybody else. I just don't look at it like everybody else. I look at it as it needs to be sacrificed and burnt so we can come over to our people. Somebody said, yeah, JB said, yeah, that was a classic one. Yep. Yeah, it was $100. Yeah, exactly. And it was a point I was trying to make. But anyway, the scriptures tell us in Luke 12:33, sell that ye have and give alms. Provide yourself bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth can corrupt. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time that we make a sacrifice and do it unto the Most High, which wax not old, because it's something spiritual. This is why the Bible says, put your head towards heavenly things, towards spiritual things, and all things shall be added unto ye. Store up our treasures in the heaven, because it'll fail not. Won't be able to be anybody who can corrupt it. 1 Timothy 6:17. Charge them that are rich in the world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. Ooh. Man, notice it said, charge them that are rich in the world, meaning those who got the bag, they should be the ones being charged. But in this demonic, wicked Babylonian system, we trying to make ends meet. We barely scrounging to get by. And they taxing us out the wazoo. They don't want to pay us what we deserve. Unemployment rates are sky high, but they steady pulling out taxes and holding money and frustrating the people, when they should be getting everything from the rich. That's what the Bible says, charge them that are rich in the world, not us. It says, so they don't get high-minded. They not getting taxed, they not getting charged, so they starting to get beside themselves. And then it says, nor trust in uncertain riches. Uncertain riches. Guess what? Everything in this Babylonian system is uncertain. It's all uncertainty, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't promise. They showed you that when a sharp object came out, that you can have a job 1 minute and the next minute you won't. Why do we keep trusting in uncertainty? You know what's more certain? Having your own wells dug, having your own cattle, having land that you own that you don't have to pay a mortgage on. That's more certain. This whole establishment, everything that they have is uncertainty. You never know what's going to happen. We're on the verge of the fourth economic revolution. We're on the brink of the dollar collapsing, being replaced by artificial intelligence. And you still want to trust this system? You still want to keep on putting all your eggs in that basket? Or you're going to start building with your people, building with your nation? Let's go.
It really happens is forensic scientists and anthropologists, archaeologists from Howard University investigate, they establish who these people were, they study the bones, they recognize the hardness of their life, and then the people, about 500 people who are dug up, are then reinterred in a ceremony in these mounds. So these mounds contain about the remains of 500 people who originally were buried out through that whole area.
Singer says that at the time of the American Revolution, around the 1780s, the population of New York was about 10,000. 15% of that population were enslaved Africans.
In the United States, people usually think that slavery is an institution of the South, but slavery is actually a national institution. Now, in a place like New York, we're not looking at plantations, and we're not looking at primarily agricultural work. We're looking at people building the infrastructure of the city. We're looking at people clearing forests.
So we're a naturally agricultural people. We built it all, ladies and gentlemen, the infrastructure. So we're actually people with know-how. King Yawadan Hama, I can't even say it. King Yawadan, I don't give my Cash App. If you want to support, newbreed.love. All right. That's the reason why you don't see a Cash App on my channel. The only time that I would share a Cash App if somehow I've been banned or blocked and I have lost wages because I wasn't able to stream, then I may at times show my Cash App. But the idea is for people to go on newbreed.love, because what happens is when you get a love note, and I know I got you, bro. I know you got it, but I'm gonna teach right now. I'm gonna tell people why, what the love note system does, the functionality. All right. So when you get a love note, ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know how it works, right? Once you get a love note, let's say hypothetically you want to donate to my Cash App, but instead you go to newbreed.love. Let's say you spent $30 or you donated, you contributed $30, $40. In exchange, as a token for my appreciation for you supporting me, what I do in return is I'll send you a love note or your love notes. To every $10, there's one love note. You'll get your love notes, and there's a redeemable code on said love note. And with that redeemable code, all the merchants within our network, on my platform, on Mark the Messenger's platform, or any of us who have exchange hubs, you're able to get a discount on said items. So that's just like you done donated $30, but let's say you done went to all these sites and started shopping. You donated $30 to me, but you done saved $40 and $50 and $60 and $70 and $80 because you were shopping. So essentially, you didn't just donate, you save money in the long run because you shopping, you're buying Hebrew Care products, you're buying soaps, you're buying t-shirts, you're buying merch. But guess what? You still, every time you use that love note, you're saving money. So each love note you can use one time for each merchant. So you can go to various sites or whatever. So one love note can save you hundreds of dollars if you shopping within our system. So it's an ecosystem. We have our own economy, right? So hopefully that made sense, right? Because that's what's needed. Our people have to have their own economy. That's why I would rather you support newbreed.love, because it's bigger than me. I could take contributions off for myself, but that's not how I get down. I want to make sure everybody's eating. You understand? Small businesses get to eat. The people get to save money, and I get to support those who support me. And on top of that, everybody who supports, I basically have you in a central hub, and I get to see who is who. So it's not just like you sending a Cash App and I don't know who sent what. I get to see email address, phone number, name. So let's say hypothetically, Reality Check that's in the chat, say hypothetically, she sends me $20. I can call her personally and thank her because at that time I needed it, right? Or, well, I'm saying that wrong. I can thank her. I can send, I know who's doing what. That's what I mean to say. Where if it was Cash App, I would not be able to know who is actually contributing. I wouldn't know who to give back to. Let's say I want to give away something. Let's say all of a sudden New Breed says, hey, there's an emergency situation in one state, which has been done before, where people are in need. Guess what? If you're a love note holder and an emergency happens in your city, I'm able to see who's a love note holder and help those people. All right. So hopefully I broke that down and you understand why we use the love note system. All right. All right. Let's continue.
We're looking at people building roads, building fortifications, dredging harbors. And the people who did this work were enslaved Africans.
As we walk across the city to Foley Square, Alan tells me about how it was here that enslaved Africans, free blacks, and white supporters accused of plotting the 1741 slave conspiracy were executed. White New Yorkers, afraid of a slave revolt, responded to rumors and unexplained fires with the arrest of 146 enslaved Africans. The execution.
You hear that? And then they claimed that we revolted. You hear this, ladies and gentlemen? They claimed that we revolted because there was some buildings burnt. And they started executing our people. Now, mind you, there's nothing new under the sun. They did this back in the day with Nero. Acted like they did this in Jerusalem with Nero. Acted like we burnt down something. They actually did that in America too, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, they did that around the financial institutions in fear that our people would rise up and basically give them some pushback and some smoke for what they did to our ancestors. So they went a step further. Let me show you the disrespect. So let's follow the chain of events here. They buried us, mummified our bodies, did all kind of witchcraft and rituals and sorcery to continue to get financial riches from us. Didn't give us proper burials, built these buildings over our bodies. Then anybody who would push back or revolt, the ancestors, anybody related to them, they started burning certain things down, and then went and blamed our people and started executing our people so they can get certain people out of the way. So that's what they did, man. Let's go.
Execution of 35 blacks and 4 whites, and the transport to other colonies of 70 enslaved people. Historians continue to doubt whether a slave conspiracy ever existed.
1741.
Well, of course, they're gonna call it a conspiracy, but this is the reason why our people are trading in those death notes. And I want to take the opportunity with the last stretch of this stream for people who have questions about love notes, right? And I want to be able to answer said questions about these love notes when it comes to the functionality of them. All right. Now, so feel free within the chat. If you have a question regarding the love note system, how this works, I want to answer that for the people. And I will leave a link in the chat as well. And again, everybody, I want y'all to go subscribe to this channel too. If you're catching this on New Breed Global Truth, make sure you go to New Breed Universal ENT and subscribe immediately. All right. Let's see. So let's see. If you have questions, feel free. And we got that shared. And you can see both channels in the chat. See, this is the name of that channel. In case you're coming from New Breed Universal, this is New Breed Global Truth. All right. And I got new music coming over there too, because on New Breed Universal, I put music over there as well. Please do not use the R word, Lewis. I'm gonna time you out for that. There's certain words that you just can't say within my chat, man. Somebody says, what do I do after I get my ID? I just want to get involved and work for the people, kingdom. All right, that's an excellent question. All right, so what that idea is going to be utilized for in the long run is for people who want to do international travel between here and Africa. That'll be pretty much a segue for you getting dual citizenship, 808 and vibes. So you hold on to that national ID. And also, there are certain companies that will acknowledge it. We got a few brothers in the truth who use their national ID going to get hotel rooms, going to certain places, they're just saying, hey, I'm from the United Nation of Israel and I want to use my ID. So use it. Certain places you go where ID is required, some people they can't help but to respect it, bro. That's what you got to understand. They can't tell you you're not a nation of people because you are. So certain places just can't help but to respect that you identify with your nation. So use it. And we need more brothers using those IDs publicly. We need these people talking, right? 808 says, I'm a comedian and I have skills in landscaping. Thanks, Bree. Big bro, definitely going to tap in further. Absolutely. And for brothers and sisters who would like to tap in, you would go to yahwillgather.us/brotherhood. And if you're a sister, /sisterhood. And, see how you can help build with your people. And pretty soon, September 2nd, we got the National Day of Repentance in Washington, D.C. I'll be there. I'll be one of the main speakers. There'll be a lot of people there speaking. Pretty soon, I'm going to be giving y'all more details on that excursion. Let me see. Barbara Laval says, my ID is in Christ alone. That's an interesting comment right there, Barbara. It's very interesting because you have a driver's license, right? You have an ID within this system. So that comment is inaccurate. You just don't want to support your nation. If that's the case, just say, I don't want to support my nation. I don't want to support my people. But don't say your ID is in Christ alone, because you definitely had to show an ID in America to do something. All right. Let's see. Now y'all I'm gonna share the link one more time and I'm gonna give it 5 minutes. If nobody's joining, I'm guessing that I answered all questions. I don't be getting mad when that happens. That just means I was very thorough. There's times I'm very thorough and everybody's questions be answered. So they don't have nothing to ask. So that might be the situation. And that's good too. Somebody said, if I wanted to camp on the NC land, would that be a problem? Javon, we would recommend that you link in with the brethren. Were you on the land before? Let me know if you've been there before. And then we can talk about that behind the scenes. If you haven't been to the land with us, then I'm not sure why you would ask that question. You haven't even been. All right, so I guess all the questions have been answered, right? Somebody said, how do you use WhatsApp? Desire, what do you mean, how do you use WhatsApp? We're not talking about WhatsApp. We don't own WhatsApp. Listen, let me explain something. We have many platforms that's equivalent to the platforms here. We have a platform that's just like Instagram. We got streaming services, platforms. So when I tell y'all to plug in and link in, see what we have available. Amari, thank you for the $20 Cash App. I appreciate the support. Says time to build. All right. I guess we got one brother in the queue that has a question. What's going on? What's your question, fam?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, you loud and clear. What's your question?
Yo, I just want to know, like, what's the benefits of me getting this love note thing, man? You know, you very through the basis of linking the way for you to get into dual citizenship, but there has to be more than that.
Brother, the first thing you started off by saying is, what's the benefit of you getting a love note? If that's the mentality you have, getting a love note, don't get a love note. Now, do that make sense what I just said?
I'm not saying like what's the benefit, but like you said,
No. Listen.
clearly one of the benefits that you.
No, did you hear what I just said? I said if your question is what's the benefit? How do I benefit off getting a love note? Then you should not get a love note. If you're gonna get a love note, you should be thinking about how it's gonna benefit others. See, that's how this American currency, this is how the American system got our people thinking. How do they benefit off of it? It's not about that. It's about how do you support other people? How does your nation benefit should be the question.
All right, one thing that I would get from it.
No, listen, I asked you, young man. I said, did you look, young man? I asked you a question. Did you understand what I just said? That's what I asked you. That's yes or no. Huh?
I understand that.
All right, so you understood what I just said. Okay. All right, what's your other question?
So you said in the midst of a catastrophe going on in the world, you would get like using this love note system. One of the things that I can get was like, supplies.
Yes, we've done that before. I don't know if you were familiar with the Ohio train derailment where toxic chemicals were spilled into the water. We were able through the love note system to send 5 cases of water totally free with people just using their redeemable code. We were able to do that for all love note holders. So unlike Cash App, if somebody was to contribute, if they contributing on the love note site, they would then be in our database where if something happened, where you located?
Okay, ATL, brother.
Okay, cool. You in ATL. Like if something happened here in ATL, you got a love note. I can look into my database and say, dang, man, let me look at all the people who in ATL. Oh man, dang mean is in here. Let me check on a brother and make sure he all right. And and if you're a love note holder, if we're giving away certain supplies on the site, you're able to use that love note redeemable code to get said supplies for pretty much for free. We'll make it so it's for free. So that's how it works. You understand? All right. So I was just, all right. Thank you, brother. Thank you, young brother. Hopefully I answered your question.
Yo, New Breed, bro.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, man.
We need some new music, bro.
Oh, man, it's coming, bro. It's coming. Thank you, man. It's coming. Salute. Peace. All right. Yeah, so hopefully that answered everybody's questions, man. Young brother has some questions, all praises. But that's what it's about, man. It's about building. So for everybody who think we just maniacs and we out here, they don't understand what the hell is a love note. What is that? That's so foreign to so many people. It's so foreign because this purple looking currency, this thing is, they people looking at it like, what is this? Like these people crazy. You trading in these bloodthirsty dollars. They've been in the strippers' butt cheeks for I don't know how long. This stinky, dirty money. You trading that in for this purple, beautiful paper. The nerve of you people. Yo, all for peace. Thank you for the $20 contribution. I appreciate the support. It's highly appreciated. It says people acting like you sending people to WhatsApp in the comments. Please talk about that breed. That is not me. If you see a person in the comment section with an emblem that looks like mine and you click on said emblem and it has no subscribers, no followers, that's not me. So people learn how to use the internet. Don't get caught for the scam. I've said time and time again, it ain't me. Let's see. I guess we got another question. Hey Queen, what's your question? Queen. All right. She dropped out. All right. So I guess there's no more questions. All praises to the Almighty. Thank y'all so much for catching another broadcast. Go to the channel. Matter of fact, let's put the link out there. I'll make sure I put it in the description box as well. Let me see if I can do it right now. No, it won't let me do it right now. But if you can, brothers and sisters, put the link to the other channel in the chat so y'all can subscribe right away. Subscribe right away, because I will be more active on that channel than the other channel. And I want everybody to be up to date and up to speed. So there's another question. Sharon says, what do you think about registering to be an international? Well, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to all have, everybody who has an ID at some point, we're hoping that you all have dual citizenship in Africa. So we are international. Matter of fact, I got more news to announce. The tribal community in Ghana actually just, our elder Shemaya's up there. They actually just gave us more land, a whole lot more land. So, I mean, it's going down, man. This is a lot going on. There's a lot going on. We are plugged into the tribal community. Our elders out there working diligently. So, and everybody's prayers be up for Elder Shemaiah while he doing what he doing. Cause he out there on the ground. I'm talking, he out there on the ground getting it done, making sure our people, you know, get what we deserve. So, yeah, no doubt about that, which we'll talk about that later on once all the details are in, for sure. But man, all praises to the Most High. I love each and every one of y'all. I want y'all to have a blessed day. More content coming. Turn the post notification bell on so you can get these videos as they're being uploaded. And share. If y'all like the work that's being done, like the videos. It costs you nothing to like the videos. And, you know, do what you got to do to support your people. Look, y'all be blessed out here. Have a good one. With that being said, shalom and peace.